Anti-Afro Svengalis. I wanted to tell you about a video that Gerald dropped. I'm putting the link below the title. I encourage you to check it out. I want you to hear these comments from Gerald, then I'm going to come back and let you know what's going on. Stay tuned and I will return.
Just making idiotic statements. You're accusing people of crimes against children. Of course, they'll be upset. What do you think? Calling people prostitutes and stuff like that? Of course. Talking about their children? Of course. Accusing them of things that you don't know? Yes. The video when I responded to Sexy Toy Lady, that was in October 2021. Your comments of me regarding being a predator, that was August of 2021. So your timeline is wrong. And I think you did that on purpose because you're trying to justify your bullshit. As soon as your employers file, I will be one of the first ones to file a complaint. Because if you are a teacher, this is really piss poor behavior. I wouldn't want anybody that behaves like you online to be in front of children. Hell no. And your comments about black men in our community. Hell no. So thank you for doubling down. Somebody might be weird, but that doesn't make them an abuser of children. Let's just call it what it is. You're calling people good citizens. You're calling fathers, decent men in their communities, abusers of children. Why? Why is that the go-to? It's this false bravado for me. Knowing good and well, when we get a hold of your employer, right? You're going to be folding like a tent. This online behavior causes offline and online problems. That's not normal behavior. Screaming and yelling and cussing at people is not normal behavior. I mean, why would I try to intimidate you? I just asked you to stop painting the scenario, but you keep continuing to paint it.
The particular focus of Gerald's video would be Carrie Ann, who also goes by Garfield or has the nickname of Garfield. Let me make it very clear. This is a person who so desperately wants to be included in the mix and is completely unaware of the impact of her actions. Before we go too far into this, let me let you hear something else that Carrie Ann rattled off. This is pretty recently. This is what she thinks about black men.
Why he talking about how people should treat a man? You not her motherfucking man. You some nigger off the internet. You some nigger off the internet. You some nigger off the internet.
You didn't hear any hesitation in her voice, did you? You didn't hear any hesitation in her voice when she called black men niggers. Niggers. Overriding issue here. How do I get black men to shut up talking about me? Or how do I get black men to not respond negatively to my nonsense? So she came in here making these broad, sweeping, offensive, just shocking. I say shocking because, yes, we know people have this about them. Some people, the self-hatred, but the venom was so extreme. And as a person just coming into a, quote, Umar Johnson sector, a lot of people found it shocking to come in right away to have such a strong negative disposition towards black men who are in the Umar Johnson sector. But then the person, in effort to temper the outrage, started talking about how she has mental health issues. Now, I've stated this many times, regardless of what anyone says they have. That does not excuse or absolve them from having people respond to their comments. The comments are fair game unless YouTube comes in and says the comments aren't fair game, because YouTube doesn't pre-screen videos. So when the person saw this excuse about supposedly having these issues, because I don't know what this person has, it's not relevant what the person has. If someone is going to make comments that are offensive, everyone else has a right to respond accordingly. So the person starts then to target black men and label them as child molesters. And let me tell you the purpose of this person doing this. This person is trying to find a way to prevent black men from really saying how they feel about what she says and does. So if you don't want to be labeled as a child molester for every little small minute thing that this person thinks that you're doing is somehow impacting children, if you don't want me to label you as a child molester, you better watch what you say about me. This is what this person is doing. Because this person out of the clear blue sky called Gerald Palmer a child molester and tried to lie. Actually, didn't try to lie. Actually did lie and said that she did it because Gerald supposedly was out of school simulating a vibrator and pointing like a camera or the vibrator. It's ridiculous, people. Let me clarify a point. When Gerald Palmer and Sexy Toy Lady had their little tiff, this little small dust up, are we forgetting that the Sexy Toy Lady and Gerald Palmer are both adults? How and why does this come into a child situation? Furthermore, that incident occurred after Carrie Ann falsely accused Gerald Palmer of being a child molester, so she's full of it. So this extra shit, this stuff going on about pointing a camera at an elementary school and having a sex toy or simulating a sex toy in front of, it's all a bunch of crap being floated by someone who very clearly knows what she did was wrong. And as far as leveling these so-called barbs about me or Gerald or anybody else trying to intimidate people by calling jobs or her job, the intimidation attempts are by Carrie Ann. She knows she will find a way to label other black men child molesters in effort to shut them up. So that is the only intimidation futile. I mean, I can't imagine any person that would be silent based on the fact that this person would falsely accuse them. What people should do is defend their rights. And this is what this person is concerned about. But the person is making comments on her own. So we step back and this person continues to make these comments about black men. You feel so negatively about a group, a specific group. You cannot hide that. It's going to come out. It came out. She's up here calling black men niggers. The venom is extreme and it's deep seated. And I know one damn thing. I am not going to sit by idly and allow this person to do what she's doing. It was never the plan. It is no relevance what anyone else has to say about this approach. Number one, none of the people complaining about getting a hold of authorities, whether it's the police or someone's job or the licensing board, in order to stop these attacks or intervene with these attacks, has ever come up with any alternative solution. What they expect us to do, and they've stated it, keep it on YouTube. You cannot compel anybody to keep anything on YouTube. You can't do that. What you are asking people to do, what you're expecting people to do, is subject themselves to your unlawful abuse. And that is not acceptable. If somebody so decides to keep it on YouTube and let you slander and slur your name by calling you a registered sex offender as well as child molesters, so it's not just child molesters or child predators, people in the Umar Johnson sector have labeled people who aren't registered sex offenders as registered sex offenders. If somebody really thinks that they can speak in this manner about others and there will be no consequences, well, complacency is actually your worst enemy rather than being your best friend. And I'm not going to spend much more time on this video except to say, if those out there engaging in this conduct really don't, quote, care, then you don't care. You don't need to tell us you don't care. You just don't care by just not mentioning it. You don't need to come to my videos. And more important, keep doing what you're doing. Keep saying what you're saying. And yeah, right, we know that's bogus because they're snatching down videos. It's not going to do any good because the videos are being recorded as you speak. The links are being captured. So in the event you try to deny you said what you said, we have the link to the video or the live stream that you're making these unlawful and harassing statements, slanderous statements, accusing people of being registered sex offenders and child molesters. That conduct is not going to stand. So again, if you feel so confident about what you're doing, Don't let us stand in your way. Continue doing what you're doing, and we're going to be doing what we're going to be doing. People, you know I have much more to say on multiple topics, but this topic, specifically to Carrie Ann, there isn't anything else to say here on YouTube. So people, in the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.